Hello and a very warm welcome to this special. I hope everyone's fine and are all having a good Saturday. It's time now to look ahead to round two of this historic rivalry between India and Pakistan in the Super Fours of the Asia Cup 2022. The match will be played at the Dubai International Stadium, and Pakistan are coming off a huge 155-run win over Hong Kong, while India have already beaten them in round one. What can we expect from round two? The players have warmed up, pitches have been studied. Let's talk to our panelists on some of the key questions right now as we look ahead to round two. Ashok Malhotra joins me here, former Indian cricketer, former selector. Also joining me is Santosh Suri, senior journalist. He is in Dubai. He has been following all the action live in Dubai and in Sharjah. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking the time out to talk to us. Let's get straight into it then. Some very important questions, and why they become even more important, Ashok sir, is Pakistan are coming off a huge win over Hong Kong. That would have been a soul-crushing defeat for Hong Kong, given how they would have been happy in the way that they played against India. They lost against India by 40 runs, and they lost against Pakistan by 155 runs, 38 all-out. Pakistan bowlers all over them. But before all of that, I just hope the two teams, India and Pakistan, have figured out how to get their overs in stipulated time so that we don't have to deal with any penalties, can't afford any penalties in Super 4. Though, let's get started now with the first question. And I know this question we've raised a lot of times through this Asia Cup, even before that. But the first question, should KL Rahul be dropped? And I know at the back of my mind, Ashok sir and Santosh sir, that it's not going to happen. We know that team management very, very keen on him playing through this Asia Cup and probably the World Cup if he does well. But KL Rahul is struggling right now, and there's just no respite. Even the last match, he batted like he had the weight of the world on his shoulders. Ashok sir?
Meha, definitely. You're not making use of the, talent at your disposal. I understand KL is a good player. There's no two ways about it. But then the horses for courses. The simple thing is he doesn't seem to be fitting into T20, especially in the power play. Because somebody has to take advantage of the power play. If Rohit is going to play his own way, KL is going to play his own way. If 6 overs we get 35-40, then you are chasing the game. You're not there in front of the game. You don't expect Suri or Hardik Pandya or Rishabh Pant to bail you out. And Rishabh Pant's track record in T20 cricket, especially in the middle of overs, is not really. For me, getting him at the top, telling him to go after the bowling, take advantage of the power play, might be the thing. Plus, it will be a left-right combination. Understand KL Rahul is a top-class player. He'll come back. I'm not saying he's not going to come back, but he might come back. But as of now, horses for courses policy, and definitely, I would like to have Rishabh Pant as an opener, and if they bat for 10 overs, then maybe Surya Kumar Yadav at number 2.
Yeah. I tell you why this also gets more important now. Santosh sir, we've already spoken about how Rishabh Pant needs to be in this batting lineup, even with Dinesh Karthik, without Dinesh Karthik. Somehow they need to fit Rishabh Pant in, and that's what the team management's been trying as well, with getting him to open, batting him up and down the order. But why now this becomes very important is, in the absence of Ravindra Jadeja, what are you going to do? You have one half of that finishing duo. Hardik Pandya is still there, Dinesh Karthik is still there, but the onus is now on Dinesh Karthik more to finish the game in the absence of Ravindra Jadeja. But at the same time, Rishabh Pant offers that left-right combination. We saw Jadeja was sent up the order, and that then brings me to another question on should, with Jadeja gone, should it still be between Karthik and Pant? That question is going to come up on your screens, and we'll take that question before we get to some of the other questions. Let's take a look at that. With Jadeja gone, should it be Karthik or Pant? That's the big question. And that's where I'm coming to you, Santosh sir. Should it then be, because this can't be then a choice between Dinesh Karthik and Rishabh Pant. Do you agree?
See, the cricket logic says that if Ravindra Jadeja is unfit, so probably it would be ideal to bring in Akshar Patel. It would be like for like replacement. But this team management has been so, uh, straight jacket in their decision making, and it's just impossible for us to judge what the next move could be. There are so many issues in front of them. When the World Cup started, when the Asia Cup started, we were thinking a lot of things will be ironed out, but instead
Yeah.
of ironed out, they are getting more crumpled. So we are at back to square one now.
Yeah.
So, like you said,
Yeah.
there are so many questions, and we are going to deal with these questions. So the team management also has to take some tough questions and make some tough decisions to really iron out things.
Yeah.
It's not only about World Cup that we are facing right now. The immediate thing is to win this match against Pakistan, so you are not under pressure in the last two games. Must-win games they'll become for India, and even if you lose one of them, it will be bye-bye Asia Cup.
Yeah.
And you can imagine what a blow it would be for India going
Yeah.
ahead in the World Cup.
Yeah.
So I think it is ideal for Dravid and Rohit to sit down and work out such a strategy where they can feel that yes, this is the team that will win us match tomorrow.
Correct.
And I don't think so. Like you said, that they are going to drop Rahul. Probably they may bring him down the order. That is also very doubtful.
Yeah.
And then there is also many questions that you are going to ask later,
Yeah.
like Ashwin should be there or not there, and
Correct.
with Avesh reportedly unwell, who will come into his place. So there are so many decisions, and hopefully for once we'll get the decision making right tomorrow.
Okay. So now, because the team management has been so stubborn about keeping KL Rahul, we've seen that. Ashok sir, then the next best option is, should Sky bat at number 3? He is your best batter at the moment. You want that aggressive, explosive batsman up the order, because your top 3 then, we've talked about it so often, your top 3 plays similar kind of game. So then should an aggressive Suryakumar Yadav come up to bat at number 3? Ashok sir?
Meha, the best thing, as Santosh said, they have to take tough decisions. Do they have the capability of taking the tough decisions? Because Rahul Dravid is a gentleman. I don't think he's going to take tough decisions. For me, that's the bigger thing. And another thing which you asked, Dinesh Karthik and Rishabh Pant, it is a no-brainer. How can you compare Rishabh Pant with Dinesh Karthik, for God's sake? He's a match winner. He's won you test matches, he's won you ODIs. He is a match winner. Whereas Dinesh Karthik has been 17 years, he's ancient, he is there before Mohenjo-daro.
No. My thing is, now I'll tell you why I put that, why his role becomes slightly more important. We've already spoken about how Rishabh Pant has a bigger role, no doubt about it. But what I'm trying to say is, when you've chosen a person as a finisher in this side, which they've chosen, Dinesh Karthik has been chosen as their specialized finisher, right? My thing is, in the absence of Ravindra Jadeja, who was doing all the heavy lifting towards the end, along with Hardik Pandya, and then Dinesh Karthik was meant to come in and finish off matches for you. In the absence of Ravindra Jadeja, Akshar Patel not being the kind of batter that Ravindra Jadeja is, then is that role more important for Dinesh Karthik? I'm with you on Rishabh Pant really being a better wicketkeeper batsman. But my question here is specifically of the role of a finisher right now for Dinesh Karthik in the absence of Ravindra Jadeja in this team. Is that important now? That's what I'm asking you.
Meha, for me, if I put a coach's hat on your head, will you play Dinesh Karthik or Rishabh? Whatever the circumstances, will you play Dinesh Karthik or Ashok? And secondly, if you want a guy who is going to bat in 2 overs, I'll always prefer Deepak Hooda, who is a bigger hitter than Dinesh Karthik. I don't know how and why, which social media made this such a hue and cry that this guy is a lifesaver for Indian team. Since when? I cannot understand. Playing in IPL, and IPL only this year. Before that, playing for KKR, he could not put a run on the board. So all of a sudden, he He has not got Aladdin's lamp to turn the games around. So you have got a younger guy. Why are you going backwards? And Deepak Huda, the way he's played in last 8-9 matches, he has won new matches single-handedly, and he is an amazing hitter of the ball. Plus, he can bowl off spin. So I would put Deepak Huda ahead of everybody because Akshar Patel is a phenomenal bowler. He's a good bowler. Batter, he can, but he's not in the same league as Ravindra Jadeja. And fielding, we know. But if like for like replacement, then maybe Akshar Patel. But I'll still have Rishabh Pant opening and Deepak Huda instead of the next That should be the logical team.
Okay, so Rishabh Pant opening and Deepak Huda there. In fact, you've led me to the next question because who will replace Ravindra Jadeja? That is our next question. And in this, you have three options. Like Ashok sir said, there is Deepak Huda, of course, who's done everything that has been asked of him. I mean, I haven't seen a better debut in that sense in the way Deepak Huda has burst onto the international scene. So will it be Akshar Patel, Ravichandran Ashwin or Deepak Huda? There's another question that'll come later for Ravichandran Ashwin in place of Avesh Khan. But right now, between the three of them, Akshar Patel, Deepak Huda or Ravichandran Ashwin. Let me put some numbers for Akshar Patel and I'll take this question to Santosh sir. This year itself, Akshar Patel's been given a lot of opportunities. 10 matches he's played and we've seen his batting improve. He's a much improved lower order batter. Of course, not in the same class as Ravindra Jadeja, but nevertheless, there have been some cameos from him which have given India that late flourish, which is expected from, someone like a Ravindra Jadeja. He has been able to do that with his batting. There, he's striking at 153, 45 balls faced, runs scored 669. It's the bowling which hasn't been as impactful. He has been expensive. Even against the West Indies, one match he was very expensive and the next match he got 3 wickets. So inconsistent in that sense. Akshar Patel, should he be brought in place of Ravindra Jadeja? He is a like-for-like replacement. Do you think that's something that the team management will look to do?
Well, first of all, I'll talk about Huda. The management always thinks Huda hell is Huda. So poor guy is always left behind. He is out of the equation so much. It's probably because of Virat Kohli that he has not been able to get into, the top order of the. He's a much better batsman than either Ashwin or Akshar. There is no doubt about that. And of course, he may not be a bowler of the same class. He can bowl a couple of overs that can be handy for the team. As for cricketing logic, if Ravindra Jadeja is unwell, then he's not available. So obviously, Akshar Patel should come into. Akshar Patel, I feel that he is a much better bowler in test matches and ODIs than he has proved to be in T20. But you never know, on a day he can skid the ball and, have a bit of problem to the batsman. And of course, if you go for Ashwin, he's your most experienced bowler, but he has not been in, he has been warming bench for so long now, last 2 years. He has been more on bench than on the field. So probably that fate will continue for him. And most likely, unless they, of course, think that if Avesh is unwell and unable to play tomorrow, then we may have 3 spinners playing for the first time against Pakistan tomorrow.
In fact, what you were talking about, Deepak Huda, let's put some numbers up. And it's true, Ashok sir. I mean, he's been left out because of Virat Kohli, wonderful 100 in Ireland. He's been doing everything, right? Striking at what, 160 odd? Like, look at that. Batting in 2022, 161 is a strike rate, average of 54.80, the 100 that I just talked about, everything. 274 runs, 9 matches. Bowling, hasn't bowled much, 5 overs, but economy has been okay. We know that in the ODI series against Zimbabwe, he was tried more. And I feel like with the way he batted and bowled in the ODIs, he could be one of your, somebody like a Yuvraj Singh, what he did in the 2011 World Cup for India, a batting all-rounder and in the ODIs. But in T20Is, he's finding it difficult to get into the playing 11. And maybe this is the perfect opportunity. You are looking at Deepak Huda for the future. He has the aggression. He's, adopted that approach really well. I mean, there's nothing that should really keep him out of this playing 11. It's, why not? Jadeja is out. Try him. What a big deal it could be. Ashok sir?
Absolutely. Yeah, if I have to pick, I'll pick two out of these. I'll pick Akshar Patel and Deepak. Ashwin, as Santosh said, he's warming the bench. At least he's warming the bench. Before that, he was not given the bench for 4 years. He was sitting at home. So at least he is now in the dressing room. I don't know why and how he's in the dressing room. If he's in the dressing room, he should be in the field. He's such a senior cricketer. You are insulting a senior cricketer. If you pick him and don't pick him in the 11, then don't pick him. That is the mantra we always had. A great player, either he's in the 11 or he's not in the 15. So that I don't know why and what is the situation with Ashwin doesn't seem to be. But Huda is, if they got three left-handers, he bowls tight off spin. He is, a street smart bowler. Yeah. If I say in Hindi language, chore bowler. A chore bowler hai, usko pata kis tarah, how he has to bowl. So he can be a captain. And same with Akshar. I know his records are not good as a bowler, but he is a fighter. He is a great team batter. Be it batting, be it fielding, he's always delivers something or the other. Yeah. So I will still persist with them with Jadeja and instead of Dinesh Karthik. I don't know why Dinesh Karthik is a very dear friend, but I don't see him like that. Because then you can call back Kapil Dev or Gavaskar and let them all play. How can he go back 17 years for God's sake? I cannot understand why and how he is all of a sudden become a messiah of Indian cricket.
Okay, so I have this very clear from you. Rishabh Pant to open and play Deepak Huda as well as Akshar Patel. Akshar Patel in place of Jadeja, like-for-like replacement, and Deepak Huda in place of Dinesh Karthik. Is that what you want? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Then let's move on to the next question, gentlemen, and that is it game over for Avesh Khan? Now, we still don't, these are unconfirmed reports of him not being well before they're confirmed. Has he done, he has been the most unimpressive, the weakest link in this, Santosh. There's no doubt about it. I was looking at his stats this year itself. Shocking. One of those stats that stood out for me, we talked about it yesterday as well. One of those stats that stood out was that some 38 balls in the death overs in 2022 and conceded 114 runs. In Asia Cup, his economy is of 12, costly in death overs. Rohit Sharma would not want to go to him in the death overs. As a captain, and constantly if Arshdeep is creating the pressure, he is releasing the pressure in the death overs. Is it then time for India to just make him sit on the bench, get Ravichandran Ashwin in, given the slowness of the pitch? We've seen spinners have been very effective. And, get Ashwin in. Do you think that's something? Is it over for Avesh Khan first? That's the question. And then we'll talk about should Ashwin come in.
See, that way I quite, compliment the Pakistan team management. They are so, forward in bringing in their raw talent. Yeah. We have seen in this tournament itself 2 new young, debutants coming and rocking the cricket world. Like Ashok ji was saying yesterday, in IPL, there were 2 outstanding bowlers in Mohsin Khan and Umran Malik. Probably if they were in Pakistan, they would have already made their debut for national team. Yeah. But unfortunately, we Indians, are always hesitant to bring, or probably, backing the wrong horse, like Avesh Khan. It was always known, even in IPL, we have seen that he really leaks runs, especially in the death over. What we need is a very good death bowler. So in that sense, Mohsin was terrific, and Umran Malik is also one of the upcoming. So probably Indian team in management and selectors should focus on such youngsters rather than going after Avesh Khan all the time. And probably this could be, if he is unwell, probably it will be good for Indian cricket that will have at least some change, forced change at least, and probably like you suggested, the best would be to bring in Ashwin, and 3 spinners could be handy on this wearing pitches of in hot heat in Dubai. So probably, yeah, the selectors should look to the newer talent, like Ashokji had said, given two names yesterday, and
Correct.
of course for this present match, bring in Ashwin in the 11.
Okay, let's see what Ashwin can do against Pakistan. Now, Ashwin, brilliant record against the left-handers. Also, the important thing is with Ravichandran Ashwin, he is the most experienced bowler. We know what he can do in Test cricket, in ODS. But look at that, brilliant record against left-handers. Also, Ashwin's career economy rate is just 6.78. So you know he's not going to have an off day. He has very rarely had off days. In 3 matches in 2022, he's only got 3 matches, gentlemen. So he did play 3 matches. The economy of 6.66. Babar Azam's strike rate, interestingly, is 111. It goes down to 111 versus off spinners. And like I said, Pakistan have 3 left-handers in their lineup. A ball going away from them. Do you think that's another reason to play Ashwin? And of course, we've seen the pitches are far slower. It's difficult to score against spinners. We've seen in all the matches, Ashok sir.
See, Meha, the problem with us is we don't have a mystery. When you talk about Afghanistan, they've got mystery bowlers. Be it Mujibur Rahman, be it Rashid Khan. They are mystery bowlers. When orthodox bowlers, they are not that effective. And especially against Pakistan, who are big hitters. If the middle order, the Asif Alis and the the left-hander, the new left-hander who's hitting sixes at will yesterday. So they've got those guys who prefer spinners. They take chances. So they prefer spinners, and if they come good, then we can be difficult because all our 3 spinners, be it Ashwin, be it Yajwendra Chahal, be it Akshar Patel, they are all orthodox. In T20 cricket, you have to have some kind of a mystery to be effective. So that is my call on it. So I would prefer to maybe have Huda because when you play 3 spinners, there is 1 too many. There is always 1 too many because you don't know whom to bowl in the power play, whom to bowl in the slog overs. So because if you have 3, they will deliver 12 overs. So I don't know how you will adjust. As a captain, it's a headache. So that is my thinking on this. You can't play 3 spinners. That is my personal opinion. Okay. I don't know right or wrong, but this is my opinion.
So you're saying not 3 spinners, but have 2 all-rounders in Akshar and
because in plus you got Hardik
Pandya. Yeah. And this is of course keeping in mind that Hardik Pandya will be back. I hope he is back.
I hope so. He's not injured, I hope. That is all I am hoping for.
Okay. Then the last question, gentlemen, is on Pakistan. Now, Pakistan won the match against Hong Kong by 155 runs, but they have enough problems at the top as well. Just like India, the top order is the batting too slow. Santosh sir, yesterday's game as well, I know the way it finished and the kind of late flourish in the innings we saw from their batters. In the beginning, I mean, they were 104 for 1 in 14 overs and then got to 193 for 2. So at one point, it looked like maybe they weren't going to get to a good total. That's a problem with both these teams. It seems like they're almost in the same boat when it comes to the top order, though their top order is scoring more runs. Mohammad Rizwan somehow manages to score more runs.
See, when your top class batsman is not in form, the pressure will be on the top order. Same is with Virat Kohli getting out early, or Babar Azam now 2 matches. He has failed. He was very dejected, despite getting out to a team like Hong Kong. So he is worried obviously about his own form and thinking, must be thinking that he should not go Virat Kohli way. And that will be the worst thing that can happen to him. So when your top order is struggling, obviously the first, aim is to, not have wickets fall in a heap. So they have to ensure that they pass the first 7, 8, 10 overs at, maybe 2 or 3 overs. And then if you have enough of wickets in hand, then you really go hammer and tongs like we saw yesterday, Mohammad Rizwan and Khushdil, the
Yeah.
left-hander who hammered really, he played almost like our Sky in the final overs.
Yeah.
And, his hammering virtually, took the fight out of the Hong Kong team.
Correct.
So any team worth the salt, if you have problems in the top order, you are going to struggle. Like we saw in the match against Zimbabwe versus Australia, only Warner was batting at the top,
Yeah.
and the whole batting lineup just folded up. So probably that's the situation you would want to avoid, of getting, in half the overs, 5 or 6 wickets
Yeah.
down, there is very, very little chance of recovery or, going for quick runs in the slog over. So if your top order is going to, struggle, you are always going to see a slow run rate at the top half. And if you have wickets in hand, then second half probably you can make up for that.
Yeah. What a story, though, Zimbabwe on a completely, I mean, away from the Asia
Yeah,
Cup. Huge,
absolutely.
huge moment for them to win their first match against Australia, and Australia, a full strength Australian side. Incredible stuff. And Ryan Bird, who was really the wrecker in chief, there was a wonderful social media post. If I don't know if you remember, gentlemen, he was using all types of contraption to get his boot together. His boot, the sole had come off. And it became such a viral thing because he didn't have the money to put that boot together, and then I think somebody helped him. But yeah, wonderful story. But tell me one thing now, honestly, we've discussed so many questions and so many changes. Do you see any changes tomorrow happening? That's the big question.
See, they are the ones who are calling the shots there. We can say whatever. It is end of the day there. But if the result is not good, then they will have to face the big facts.
Yeah.
Because the result is good, everything is hunky-dory.
Yeah.
But if things go the wrong other way,
Yeah.
then the bouquet still the honeymoon period with Rahul Dravid is going on. Believe you me, if we don't win Asia Cup, because it's a best of 3 with Pakistan, and if we lose the World Cup, I think then the honeymoon period will be over. Santosh sir will be the first one writing against Rahul Dravid. So the media will be after him. Up till now, they have been very, very kind to him. But the fact is, you have to take this. What we are talking logic. We are, I asked at 10, because everybody is an expert in India. Everybody, cricket expert. So they ask 10 people, 7 of them will say open with Rishabh. Or they will say Sky. And then they will say play people. These are 2 things which is the talk of India. And despite of that, they are not listening. Like Rohit says, why we don't listen to what the outsiders say? Bugger, you are going to be an outsider very soon. Then I'll see what you speak to media, and then whether the captain listens to you or not. Because
he's struggling. You're right. He is struggling. He is struggling in T20Is. I mean, if he doesn't get better, he may have taken this aggression and attacking philosophy, fine, but you've not scored runs. You've got 150 in last 15 matches. The IPL, you didn't get any 50s in 40 games. You're averaging 20. Your strike rate is not that good. Your strike rate, you're saying you're aggressive, but Rohit Sharma's strike rate this year is lower than his career strike rate. How are you being aggressive when you?
Meha, you don't want Rohit to play a cameo. You want him to lead from front. Play a longer inning in 2020 cricket. You are opener. You are supposed to play 20 overs. So I don't know what kind of a thinking he has, whether Rahul has told him to say like that, or Rahul is trying to be aggressive. I would not know. But as of now, I don't seem to be very convinced that
but
we
the
still
only
have
positive,
the right team on the park.
No, I get it. But the only positive I feel from this is that when you talk to all the players, the one thing that stands out is that they love Rohit and Rahul Dravid for the security these two give them. So I don't know how much of that will work. But now I'm being told by my producer that I need to talk about Sri Lanka versus Afghanistan. And since Santosh sir is going to be going for that match later in the evening, what a moment for Afghanistan as well. I mean, Afghanistan are a real threat right now to India, Pakistan. Sri Lanka, of course, have redeemed themselves the way they played against Bangladesh. But this Asia Cup's turning out to be the one where Afghanistan can create history.
See, there are 2 teams that know the pitch at Sharjah very well. They are Afghanistan and Pakistan. They have played so much of cricket in UAE and especially Sharjah that they know how to handle what strategy to adopt. And so I think in today's game also, Afghanistan will have a upper hand. See, the problem is it's not a very easy pitch to bat on in Sharjah. It has very low and slow bounce, and you cannot pull, you cannot cut. So there is you have to play straight, and if you hit shots, you have to go towards mid off and mid on. Otherwise, like we saw how the Hong Kong players struggled, they were trying to cut the ball, they were trying to pull the ball, and they were trying to flick the ball. These are the shots that are not going to work for you on this low skidding pitches. So Afghanistan and Pakistan are the teams that are going to play in Super 4 at this ground, and probably they have the upper hand because of the experience of playing here. Besides, you see the support is also there. We see that stadium, small Sharjah stadium is full of Afghanistani fans. They all live around Sharjah. We'll see today how they'll troop to the stadium, and that really makes the atmosphere for your team to play. And but for let's see how Sri Lanka are able to tackle them this evening within a couple of hours from now.
That's right. Okay. Also, this interesting thing, you watch all these matches, Ashok sir, you see the subcontinental players struggling against spin. Modern cricketers today from the subcontinent are struggling against spin as much, if not more, as the others. Okay, not maybe, little less, but they're not being able to play spin as well, is what I meant.
Meha, if I might sound a little bit loud now. The modern day cricketers are flat trackers. They are, when the wicket is flat, they are brilliant. When the ball moves around a bit, they struggle. When ball turns and does not come at the pace they like ball to come, they tend to struggle. And then especially the Afghanistan, the kind of bowlers, Rashid Khan, Mujibur Rahman, two top-class bowlers, and not to forget Farooq, for whom this wicket is perfect, the Sharjah wicket. Just a shot of good length, and it doesn't bounce much, it skids through. And so they have got three bowlers, and then Nabi chips in. And so they have a good thing. But as you said, Sharjah ground is a smaller ground. So something what a Najibullah Jadran did, he hammered everybody out of the park. So there are big hitters. And I would say the modern day batters, they play the first line. They don't play the second line. If ball turns, they play the first line. If it turns, they're beaten. If the swing, they play the first line. If it swings away, they're beaten. So that is where has been undoing, because they see our generation was we were defensive players. These guys are aggressive players. Their first instinct is to hit the ball. Their instinct is not to defend the ball. And when the ball does something, darts around, then they tend to struggle. That is why I normally call them flat track.
Also, I feel like they've very intentionally been more risky. Like, I don't see Babar Azam going for sweep, reverse sweep. Virat Kohli, similar situation. I guess they don't want to make their game around that. And I don't know. You see Sky playing all those shots now, so maybe that's something that they should look into. But thank you so much, gentlemen. We can keep talking about cricket. It's so much fun always having you both here on the show. India versus Pakistan, the two gentlemen, along with hopefully Ashar Zaidi, at least after the match, and that India will win. We can pull his leg again, Ashok sir. But that's it from us. Goodbye. Thanks for watching News9 Sports, by the way. That's what you need to subscribe to for all the latest from the world of sports, all the latest from Asia Cup. That's it from us. Bye-bye.